Good morning, my name is Maria and my ORCID number is the 168914915. I am here to speak about the origin of Indians according to the book of Hispania Vincit from Florián de Ocampo. First, we are speaking about the biography. After, we will speak about the book itself, and the last part of my exposition will be the origin of Indians. Then let's start with the biography. Then Florián de Ocampo, he was born in 1499 and he died in 1558. In 1521, he was under the protection of two comuneros, which were Antonio de Acuña and Juan de Ontañón. Those two comuneros, in fact, the comuneros, the revolution of comuneros is because when Isabel the Catholic passed away, we needed someone to govern Castile, because even if we speak about the Catholic kings Isabel and Ferdinand, Isabel was the queen of Castile and Ferdinand was the king of Aragon. Therefore, Ferdinand, he kept governing Aragon, but we needed heir for Castile. This person was Jean Juana, which was called after Juana la Loca because the husband was Philip I of Spain, Philip of Habsburg, or Philip the Handsome. He wanted to govern in Castile, and he tried to separate his wife from the government by saying she was not psychologically well to do this function. Then, of course, the inhabitants of Spain, they did not want to have a foreigner king, and many of the court, of those members of the court who came with Philip, they were from another country, and they made rebellions for those people not to establish any kind of government and not to manage the political decisions. Then after this step of his life, once the son of Philip the Handsome and Joanna this becomes the king of Spain and the emperor of the Sacrum Empire Roman, because his grandfather Maximilianus was an ancient emperor. Then he became Charles I from Spain and Charles V of the empire. Then Florián de Ocampo, he became then the official chronicle of Charles V. Then when he started writing this book at the image of the Antiquities of Año da Viterbo, which was published in 1498. We don't know if someone told him to do the Chronicles of Spain according to or related to the book of Viterbo, or if it was his own idea, because as we said, Florián de Ocampo was born in 1499 and the Antiquities, they were published in 1498, 1 year before Florián de Ocampo was alive. Then we don't know then if it was his own decision or someone else from the court who told him to do like this. Anyway, to say the book Antiquities of Viterbo is currently studied as a forgery which was written to please the Spanish Pope Borgia. And many details of the book of Viterbo are found in the book of Ocampo. For example, the fact that Tubal was the father of all the Spaniards people, or that Noah, which was one of the descendants of Adam, came to Spain to build some cities. Then anyway, Viterbo Viterbo apparently did the book of Antiquities to please the Spanish Pope Borgia and try to gain favors from him. But as Viterbo did not always agree with the manners of Cesar Borgia, who was the son of the Pope Alexander, he was poisoned at the end of his life, and it's like this that he died. He died with poison. Maybe I don't think Florián de Ocampo wanted to have the same end that Viterbo, but as Florián de Ocampo in the past was related to the comuneros, and many comuneros were by law were killed because of those rebellions, then maybe he tried to do this book also in this way to please the King Charles and try not to have the same destiny than the rest of comuneros. Now the book. Then we've got three publications of Florián de Ocampo. The first one, there is a first publication which is date from 1541, and it's called The Four Full Part of Chronicle of Spain, composed by the High King Juan the Wise. In Spanish is Los Cuatro Libros Primeros de la Crónica de España, que mandó componer el serenísimo rey don Juan llamado el Sabio. The second book is from 1543, which title in English might be Compilation of the Four First Books of Chronicle General of Spain, written by Master Florián de Ocampo. In Spanish is Los Cuatro Libros Primeros de la Crónica General de España, que recopila el maestro Florián de Ocampo. And in 1553 we've got the third book. Then we are speaking in here in this presentation about the whole set of books written between 1543 and 1553. I will now summarize the books. The first book starts with the biblical flood that God sends to humanity, and the new inhabitants who come to Spain to spread their dynasty, their mankind. Tubal is the first. He is the grandson of Noah. Noah also comes to Spain and builds the city of Nuela. We can see those new settlers. They are very dynamic, they are very energized, because they travel to Italy, for example, to spread themselves. Then Italian people, apparently they come from Spanish. The Greek, they come to Spain. In the second book, we have got Celtic population who comes from during a short time to Catalonia. They come, they do some battles, but they are fired away. The Phoenicians, they come to Cadiz and they build big cities that even the philosopher Plato mentions in his book. Spaniards from Sicilia, they start a war against the Greek, and the first Carthaginians, they come from Africa to enter the Spanish country. We also have got French Celtic population from France, of course, who create Extremadura. And Spanish Andalusian, they start a war against Phoenicians that they win very quickly. Apparently the Phoenicians, they are very, very weak settlers. And the Spanish Andalusians, they also start another battle, another war against the Carthaginians, which will end with treaties and friendship. Then we start the third book, in which the Andalusians, they build also new cities that Greeks and Romans, they mention in their books. In the third chapter, we've got battles against the Carthaginians and the Arabs. The Carthaginians and Arabs are commanded by Sopho, and many Spanish Carthaginians, they migrate to Africa because they support Sopho, the captain. We've got sailors who come from Cadiz to succeed. We've got sailors from Cadiz who succeed to cross the ocean. We guess it's the Atlantic Ocean because there is no point to go to travel all the old world to reach the Pacific Ocean and cross it. The commander sailor Sopho, he might not be either very strong because he needs the help of two of his cousins, which are Emilcon and Anon. They then come to Andalusia, of course, and they decide to discover the old world from there. Then Emilton he sails to the north, and Ano, he tries to sail through the Atlantic Sea. However, he can't. The Atlantic Sea, the water is very violent, very aggressive, and only Spanish people are able to navigate and to penetrate the Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, Ano needs to stay in Cadiz to build friendship with Spanish people from there and to start traveling, discovering with Spanish boats and Spanish knowledge and some Spanish sailors, navigators. Then we've got the wars that start in Sicilia between the Carthaginians, Spaniards, and Greeks from Athens, and will follow this war until the chapter 17. In this chapter 17, Spanish fishermen, they are already able to capture tuna from the Atlantic Sea, which means they are able to cross it up, down, horizontally, all the ways around. And and it's at this point that French people from Marseille, they come as well to settle in Spain. They mix with Greeks who are already in Spain, and they will be called Gallo-Griegos at the beginning, and after this word Gallo-Griego will become Gallego. Then Gallo, by the way, means French in Spanish, and even the French people, they call themselves les Gaulois. Then those Gallegos, they will spread along the north of the Spanish peninsula. country. In the book 4, we still have got the wars in Sicilia. They will finish, but the Andalusians, they will rebel at this moment against the Carthaginians. Then we've got troops from Carthaginians which arrive into Andalusia to support the rebellion. Among the captains, we find one which is called Amilcar Barcino. He creates new cities and reestablishes the situation in Andalusia. After him comes the Captain Asdrubal, who asks his brother-in-law Hannibal to be his successor. Hannibal agrees, and Asdrubal may rest in peace because he died. This Hannibal is in fact the son of Amilcar Barcino, the first captain who builds many cities around in the country. He will marry a Spanish woman, but he has to destroy several cities to eradicate rebellions. Among the cities he destroys, the author finds the city of Sagunto, which was apparently rebuilt under the name of Sigüenza, according to some scholars. Hannibal settles in Cadiz with his woman and son, but the Romans, they arrive, and many Spanish and Carthaginians leave the country. Hannibal then he tried to join Italy by sea, but there is no boat, therefore he has to walk. People who see him walking towards Italy decide to follow him. In the 5th book, then the Romans, they are not nice. Apparently they are very violent and aggressive against the Spaniard people. Then when Francisco, Hannibal, which is a very, very Spanish name, kind of, because it looks also, might remember as well, Francis Drake, the name Francisco, arrives into Lombardia with his long queue of followers. He starts fighting against the Roman Italians in Lombardia. And there is another Captain Asdrubal, which is called to fight in Italy. But at this moment, because there is the war in Spain done by the Italian Romans, he can't go by sea. Then he stays fighting in Spain against Neio Scipion, which is a commander, Roman-Italian commander. At this moment also Imilce and Hannibal, who are the wife and the son of the Hannibal who is in Lombardia, they are killed. And apparently this Asdrubal, who is fighting in Spain against Neio Scipion, he might be a very, very strong man, because Neio Scipion, he needs to ask his brother to come to Spain and fight alongside him. The brother's name is Publio Cornelio Scipion. By this time, we've got Hannibal, who reached Roma in Italy, and who calls also the Spaniards from Sicilia to fight along him. Then we've got Hannibal from the north, and the Spanish Sicilians from the south coming up. They succeed, they manage to conquer the whole Italy. After the conquest of Italy, the brothers Scipion are killed, and the Carthaginians, Spaniards, they succeed, they win the war. However, the book is called Hispania Vincit, not the Carthaginian Vincit. Then, and there is no mention of the Carthaginians in the title. Now we are speaking about the origin of Indians. Then, as we said, Spain, after the flood, was inhabited by descendants of Tubal, Noah's grandson, who came into Spain by Andalusia. In the chapter 4 of the third book, when Hannon is traveling, it is said he can't penetrate the furious, the aggressive water of the ocean that only Spanish sailors can navigate. He has to make his discoveries around the coast. Is in chapter 8, once he managed to navigate with Andalusian people, that he discovers islands 5 days of deep navigation in the Atlantic. Those islands are Pelagia and Promontorio Barbarico, that sailors from Lisbon will try to reach later on. In the chapter 20, Carthaginians from Spain discover other islands that the Spanish people sail nowadays and which are called Indies. In fact, Carthaginian sailors leave Andalusia and find land fertile, and some decide to settle and some come back to Spain. However, those who come back to Spain are asked not to spread the secret of other lands very rich, otherwise they might be killed. Then we've got those Carthaginians who might be mixed with the Andalusians and therefore descendants from Tubal. Then the Indians will be 50% descendants from Tubal, which is one of the biblical persons and linked to God. Or they can be 50% descendant of Carthaginians, which are not as biblical settlers, are Tubal descendants. However, if as Carthaginians have been also created by God and are also descendant from Noah, they will also be linked to God. They are also God creatures. Therefore, Indians, they are God creatures. Yes, and as they are God creatures, as we are, then they will be our brothers. We've got the second choice, which will be Indians being 100% Carthaginians. No, because only those people who went to Indies, they were pure Carthaginians, which is not very how can I explain? Which is not sure, because if we remember the sailor Hannon, he was not able to penetrate the Atlantic Sea without the help of Spanish people. Then maybe those other Carthaginians, they were not able to, they needed the Spanish people to go so far into the Atlantic. But we can always figure out that they are 100% Carthaginians, and in this case they come also from Adam, but not from Tubal. They have been created, of course, by God, but they might not be as pure, as noble as the Spanish people. However, the relation with the Spanish Carthaginians, or between the Spanish and the Spanish Carthaginians, is very close, honest, friendly, and has been lasting for a long time. Then at the end of the 5 books, as we can remember, is a Carthaginian, Hannibal, who liberates Spain from the Romans, Italians, and is the Carthaginian, Hannibal, who conquered Italy. Then at the end we can deduce there is some hope in this book, in Florián de Ocampo's writings, because I guess he will hope to see a real mixicity between Spaniards from the metropole and Indians from the colonies, who are, by the way, already siblings of the Carthaginians, because they also come from Spain. They have been in contact with the Spaniards, or maybe, as I said previously, mixed with the Spaniards, Carthaginian, and they may have relatives in Spain. Therefore, they are our family, even if not brother, but they still belong to our family. And that's it for the conclusion of Florián de Ocampo. Hope you will enjoy it, and I hope the sound will be alright, because I've been listening myself and those computers are just rubbish.